The Queen of Dancehall is in serious trouble. What was supposed to be a quiet night behind the scenes has exploded into one of the biggest scandals in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. A shocking leaked video featuring Spice has surfaced online, and what it reveals has fans furious. Cast members speechless and producers scrambling to contain the fallout. This isn't just gossip. It's a raw, unfiltered look into a side of Spice the world was never meant to see. The footage shows betrayal, manipulation, and conversations so damaging they could end careers and destroy friendships forever. But the real question everyone is asking is, was this a calculated setup? Or did Spice finally expose her true self? One thing's for sure, this scandal is about to flip the entire love and hip-hop universe upside down. And the truth, it's even darker than you think. For years, Spice has reigned supreme as the unshakable Queen of Dancehall, a powerhouse presence whose fiery personality, unmatched talent, and unapologetic authenticity have earned her millions of fans around the world. On Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, she was more than just a cast member. She was the heartbeat of the show, the drama magnet, and the name that guaranteed headlines. But beneath the glitz, the music, and the Instagram-perfect moments, something darker had been brewing. It was only a matter of time before the world saw the cracks in the crown. It all started innocently enough. Rumors had been swirling for weeks about a mysterious video allegedly involving Spice, a clip said to contain private conversations, behind-the-scenes scheming, and behavior that could shatter her carefully crafted image. Most fans brushed it off as clickbait, another false alarm in the ever-spinning rumor mill of reality TV. But then late one night, the footage dropped online, and within minutes the internet was on fire. The video wasn't just messy, it was explosive, shot on a shaky phone camera in what appeared to be a dressing room after filming. The footage showed Spice in a heated argument with a fellow cast member. Her words were sharp, calculated, and cutting, a far cry from the empowering, confident persona she portrays on stage and on screen. She was seen mocking another woman's career, plotting alliances against rival cast members, and even hinting at pulling strings behind the scenes to get someone removed from the show. The reaction was immediate and brutal. Fans flooded social media with disbelief and anger. "This isn't the Spice we know," one longtime supporter wrote. "This is something else entirely." Blogs and gossip pages pounced on the story, dissecting every frame, every word, every detail of the footage. What had once been Spic's most loyal fan base now seemed divided, some defending her actions as reality TV strategy, while others accused her of being manipulative, power-hungry, and fake. Inside VH1's Atlanta production office, chaos was erupting. Executives scrambled to figure out how the footage had leaked and what it would mean for the future of the show. Contracts were reviewed, legal teams were called, cast members were suddenly being questioned. No one knew who had recorded the video or why. One thing was certain: the damage was already done. And as the footage continued to spread, so did the speculation. Was this a one-time outburst caught on camera? Or was it proof of a long-running pattern of behavior that Spice had managed to keep hidden? Was this a betrayal by someone close to her? Or was it a strategic leak meant to bring her down behind the glamorous stage lights and the choreographed drama of reality TV? A real war was beginning to brew. One that would test alliances, end friendships, and possibly even destroy Spice's legacy. And this was just the beginning. The morning after the leaked video hit the internet, the love and hip-hop world was in complete chaos. Gossip blogs, fan pages, and entertainment outlets were flooded with clips, commentary, and theories. Every second of the footage was dissected, slowed down, and analyzed frame by frame, from Spice's tone of voice to the expression on her face. What shocked fans even more was the who and what of her words in the video. Spice appeared to be strategically plotting against a fellow cast member, not in the typical reality TV shade-throwing way, but in a cold, calculated attempt to ruin a career. She thinks she's the star. "Let's see how she shines when I'm done with her," Spice was heard saying in one particularly damning moment. That line alone ignited a wildfire online. It was quoted in memes tweeted by celebrities and even reposted by other reality stars. Some shading Spice, others standing by her. Overnight, a woman once seen as empowering and iconic was suddenly being labeled as vindictive, insecure, and power-obsessed. Producers at VH1 held emergency meetings, This wasn't the kind of drama they could script or control. This was real and it was dangerous. The network feared potential lawsuits if the person in the video could prove reputational damage. Worse, the show's sponsors were now calling concerned about being associated with the scandal. And as much as they loved the ratings spike that drama brought, this was a scandal that could burn the brand to the ground. Inside Spic's inner circle, panic set in. Her team initially tried to downplay the footage as edited and taken out of context. But when the full uncut version leaked, showing even more damaging conversations, that defense collapsed instantly. Suddenly, the question wasn't whether the video was real. It was who leaked it and why now. Rumors pointed in every direction. Some said it was a disgruntled crew member. Others believed a rival cast member, tired of Spic's behind-the-scenes control, had been plotting revenge for months. A few even speculated that it was a calculated move by the network itself to boost ratings by turning its most powerful star into the season's biggest villain. But the most explosive theory of all, that someone close to Spice, a friend, maybe even someone from her own team, had betrayed her. A mole from within. That possibility shattered her trust and sent shockwaves through her camp. People she had known and trusted for years were now being questioned. Phones were checked, NDAs were pulled out, friendships ended overnight. Meanwhile, the rest of the cast was watching closely. Some were secretly celebrating, glad to see Spice, who they accused of controlling storylines and manipulating producers, finally being taken down a notch. Others were terrified, wondering if their private conversations had also been recorded. Paranoia spread through the set like wildfire, and filming ground to a halt as producers scrambled to regain control. But the public reaction was perhaps the most telling of all. Fans who once worshipped Spice were now split into two camps. Where Team Spice trended on Twitter, loyal supporters insisting she was being set up and everybody plays dirty in reality TV. On the flip side, Spice Exposed went even more viral, with people calling for her to be removed from the show entirely. "We looked up to her," one fan wrote. "We believe she was real. This isn't real. This is ruthless." And amid the chaos, one uncomfortable truth became clear. This wasn't just a scandal. It was a reckoning. Spice's empire, built on years of hard work, music, and television success, was beginning to show cracks. And as more secrets threatened to spill, it became obvious that the leaked footage was only the tip of the iceberg. The Queen of Dancehall's throne was no longer secure, and the people who once cheered for her rise were now watching, popcorn in hand, waiting for her fall. Days turned into weeks, but the scandal surrounding Spice showed no signs of slowing down. What began as a single leaked clip had now spiraled into a full-blown media storm. And every new revelation seemed more damaging than the last. As journalists, bloggers, and even former castmates began digging deeper, an unsettling truth started to emerge. This wasn't just a moment of bad behavior caught on camera. It was a window into a long history of behind-the-scenes manipulation, broken alliances, and personal betrayals that had been brewing for years. It turns out the leaked video was only part of a larger trove of recordings. Several more clips surfaced, each one exposing more of Spic's private conversations and revealing the extent of her involvement in shaping the show's drama. In one recording, she was allegedly heard discussing ways to phase out a fan-favorite cast member by planting rumors that would ruin their credibility. In another, she appeared to boast about influencing producers to cut storylines that didn't make her look good. Fans were stunned. The woman they'd once praised for keeping it real was now being painted as the ultimate puppet master, pulling strings to maintain her spotlight and stepping on anyone who stood in her way. Industry insiders confirmed that Spic's influence behind the scenes was well known, but no one had ever seen proof until now. The fallout was catastrophic. Several cast members refused to film with her, citing trust issues and safety concerns. One even walked off set during a shoot, calling the entire production toxic. Longtime friendships crumbled, old alliances shattered. And perhaps the most painful blow of all, people close to Spice, including those who had once defended her publicly, began distancing themselves. Even her music label released a carefully worded statement that, while supportive, emphasized they had no involvement in her reality TV controversies. reality TV controversies, but the biggest bombshell was still to come. A source close to the production revealed that the leak wasn't accidental at all. According to insiders, the footage had been deliberately released not by a rival cast member or a disgruntled employee, but by someone who had once been one of Spice's closest allies. The reason? Revenge. Allegedly, that person felt betrayed after being cut off from Spicky's inner circle without explanation. The leak, they claimed, was their way of showing the world who she really is. And as damaging as the footage was, they hinted that there was even more. Evidence of conversations and decisions that could end careers if made public. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. This was no longer just about Spice's behavior. It was about betrayal on a deeply personal level. The Queen of Dancehall wasn't just battling public opinion. She was now fighting a war against ghosts from her own past, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Rumors swirled that VH1 executives were debating whether to suspend her from the show or write her out entirely. Sponsors were pulling deals. Events were quietly removing her name from lineups. The woman who had once been untouchable was now standing on shaky ground, watching everything she'd built teeter on the edge of collapse. Still, Spice refused to back down. She took to Instagram Live, tearfully denying the worst accusations and insisting that the clips were taken out of context and edited to make her look bad. But the damage was already done. For many fans, the Queen's crown had slipped, and no amount of explanations could fix the fractures that had formed. But the real question remained. These leaks were just the beginning. What else was hiding in the shadows? And could Spice survive the storm if the rest of the truth came out? Because one thing was certain. The final act of this drama hadn't even begun by the time the dust began to settle. Spic's world looked nothing like it once did. The once invincible Queen of Dancehall, the woman who dominated stages, commanded reality TV screens, and shaped entire storylines with her presence, was now staring down the barrel of the biggest crisis of her career. The leaked footage had done more than just damage her reputation. It had flipped the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta universe upside down. Producers were scrambling to contain the fallout. Meetings stretched late into the night as executives debated whether to suspend her, rewrite storylines, or even cancel parts of the season. Sponsors once eager to associate their brands with her global influence started backing out of contracts. Event organizers quietly removed her name from headlining slots. Even the cast dynamic was irreparably changed. Some members flat out refused to film with her, calling her presence a liability. Others saw an opportunity to seize the spotlight she once monopolized. But the most heartbreaking fallout was deeply personal. People who had stood beside Spice for years, stylists, business partners, even close friends began distancing themselves. It's not just about the video, one insider revealed. It's about the way she's handled the aftermath. The tears, the denials, they don't feel real anymore. Fans echoed that sentiment with social media divided into two fierce camps, one demanding her permanent removal from the show, and the other defending her as a victim of betrayal. And yet, despite everything, Spice refused to disappear quietly. She returned to the public eye with a bold move, a televised interview where she addressed the scandal head-on. With cameras rolling, she admitted to making mistakes and letting fame get the better of her. But she also claimed she had been targeted and set up by people she once trusted. "I'm not perfect," she said, "but I'm not a monster either. People want to tear down what they didn't build, but I'm still standing." The interview was raw, emotional, and for many, too little, too late. Still, it marked the start of something unexpected, a redemption arc. Slowly, a handful of fans began to rally behind her again. They argued that Spice was no different from countless other reality stars caught in scandal, and that her willingness to face the music proved she was trying to grow. Meanwhile, whispers from the production set suggested that Love and Hip Hop Atlanta executives were considering giving her one last chance. But under strict conditions, whether or not Spice can truly rebuild her empire remains an open question. Her brand, once untouchable, is now scarred. Her relationships, once strong, are now fractured. And the industry, once eager to celebrate her, is watching with skepticism. But if there's one thing everyone knows about Spice, it's that she's a fighter. She's built her career on resilience, on turning setbacks into comebacks, And this may be the ultimate test of that strength. Because in the end, this scandal isn't just about a leaked video or a shattered reputation. It's about power, trust, and the high price of ambition. And for Spice, the battle to reclaim her throne has only just begun. The cameras are still rolling, the fans are still watching. And the final chapter of this drama, whether it's a redemption story or a downfall, is still waiting to be written. That the saga of Spice's leaked footage isn't just another reality TV scandal. It's a cautionary tale about power, fame, and the price of trust in an industry built on betrayal. What started as one explosive video has spiraled into a movement, shaking the foundation of love and hip-hop Atlanta and forcing fans, cast members, and even producers to question everything they thought they knew. But now more than ever, the story is far from over, and how it ends might just depend on you. Will Spice rise from the ashes stronger than ever, reclaiming her title as one of reality TV's most unapologetic queens? Or has the damage already gone too far, leaving behind a legacy forever tarnished by deceit and manipulation? These questions will define the next chapter, and your voice matters in shaping that narrative. We want to hear from you. Was Spice the victim of a ruthless betrayal? Or did she finally get exposed for playing the very game she once dominated? Does she deserve a second chance? Or is it time for new faces to take the stage? Drop your thoughts, theories, and reactions in the comments below, and join the debate that's dividing the fan base. And don't stop there. Hit that like button if you believe the truth always comes to light, and subscribe to stay locked into every shocking twist, behind-the-scenes revelation, and explosive confrontation still to come. Because trust us, this story is only getting started. In a world where secrets never stay buried and reality it's often stranger than fiction, one thing is certain: the Spice saga is far from finished. Stay tuned, stay vocal, and stay ready, because the next bombshell could drop any moment.